Hey guys, it is Kramer here, and I am back. Yes, I am, and right now I'm going to be making a video, explaining why I was gone, where I went, and if you guys aren't up to date on anything. Um, so basically, I had to go to camp for 1 week. Actually, it was 6 days to be precise, and I am back now. I have said it in recent videos, and I have sent clan mail to both Clash Royale and Clash of Clans. If you are a part of my clans, so there we go. Now that we got that off, next up is I have something to tell you about my experience at camp and what happened, because there's some interesting things that I want your guys' opinion on. So, basically, I went to camp and we had fun and everything. And there's this thing called going on trail. You basically just spend the night at in the woods at a random campsite or whatever that you choose from, and you just camp out there. And my brother was in my cabin along with some others, and when we went out there, he actually heard something because we set up our tents. We make a campfire, we cook food, we eat it, and then he goes to his tent early, and he wants to go to sleep, so he goes into the tent. He's chilling there. We're all outside the tent. We're all like telling stories, having fun and everything. And then my brother comes running out. He says, "I just heard somebody scream, 'Help me!' out there. It sounded like a girl." And everybody went silent. We all went silent for about 3 minutes, waiting for anything to say something. We didn't hear anything. So we were like, "Wait, what? What'd you hear?" Nothing happened. But when we got back from the trail, we actually... Let me turn this down. Alright, so when we got back from the trail, basically there was some other... there's other campers, other cabins that went on trail too on the same night. And there's some camps close by to us. We asked them if they actually heard anything during the night. They said, "Yeah, I heard this girl scream, 'Help me.'" And sure enough, that's exactly what my brother heard. And that really got us thinking, like, what the hell is going on? Is somebody in trouble out there or something? And before we actually went to the trail, there was a myth going around, or a legend, of these things called shadow runners. And basically what a shadow runner is this thing that sprints out through the woods screaming, "Help me," around campsites, or sprinting through the woods. And where this came from is because 4 weeks before we came here, there was an incident that occurred. These girls went on trail and to this place called Breakfast Point, and it's an abandoned what do you call it? It's an abandoned cabin site, where now you can use to camp there. It's a little bit away from the main camp, but it is still not in the camp. So they went there to spend the night there, and when everybody went into their tents for the night to go to bed, they heard some girl or some high-pitched voice, and it was terrifying. And it was screaming, and the voice was getting closer and further away, and it was screaming, "Help me!" And it didn't really sound human, but it did. It was terrifying. And when this is happening, nobody wants to go out of their tents. Nobody at all. Because they were just too scared. And since nobody went to go check on it, they didn't know what the hell it was because it was out in the woods. It was sprinting closer and further, and it was going around, like around the camp, and um, it eventually stopped. In the morning, they did a count on the campers, and one girl was missing. Turns out that she was at a well close by. She was passed out in front of this well. And when she woke up, she was confused. She was like, "Where am I? What happened?" and everything. We assumed that she was sleepwalking. But they found these deer guts while looking for the girl. And they found a deer heart hanging from a tree. Think how creepy as hell that is. And when this is happening, it's spread around the whole camp. Everybody's telling this, like, "Did you hear about the Shadowrunner?" And everybody's talking about it. And it was never heard about again. Like, there was no more incidences after that. But then when me and Jaden, my brother, go out on trail, he hears a girl saying, "Help me." We didn't even know about any Shadowrunners until people were telling us. This is odd. And so we're like, we got to find out more about this. Something was out there. Something happened. And when we went on trail, we went with another cabin. And their cabin counselors, they had 2 counselors for that cabin, and one was named Avatar. Well, that's his nickname for the camp. Avatar told us Avatar told us the story of when he went to the camp 9 years ago, and he went on trail. And this was his experience, and it was weird as hell. And he thinks that it may be linked to the Shadowrunner. He sat down in our cabin, and he told us the story about it. And basically what he said was, he's from Colombia. He doesn't speak English well. He only knows Spanish, and he can understand English a little bit, but he can't really communicate with others. And because of that, he was, he didn't really talk to the other kids because, he couldn't. And since he couldn't do that, he would just look at his Pokemon cards, read them, have his hood up, not look at anybody in the eyes. And basically nobody liked him because he was the weird one. They went on trail, and he brought his own tents. Usually the camps provide you with 4-person tents, but since he had his own tent, they said, why not? Let's use it. And so they brought 2 4-person tents and 1 2-person tent that was his. And basically what was going to happen was 4 campers sleep in one of the 4-person tents, and then the 2 counselors sleep in the other 4-person tent, and then the last 2 campers sleep in the 2-person tent. That night, when they were about to get ready to go to bed, they needed to decide who's going to be sleeping in what tent. And the counselor told Avatar to go into his tent and wait for the camper that he's going to send for him to sleep in the tent with him. So he goes into his tent, and Avatar told us that he realized later on that the reason the counselor told him to go into his tent is because he didn't want Avatar to hear all the kids arguing about who's going to sleep in the tent with him, because nobody wanted to. And but later that night, a kid came in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Peter. I'm gonna be sleeping in the tent with you tonight." And no, he's like, "I'm gonna be sleeping with you tonight." And he sits down. He's really nice, and he's saying he's talking to Avatar, even though Avatar can not understand him well, but he still talks to him, and Avatar kind of liked it because it made him feel happy. And they ended up playing Pokemon together because that was pretty much the way they would communicate with each other. And so then after playing Pokemon for a while, Avatar is tired and he's like, "Sleep, bed." He wants to go to sleep and he's tired. And Peter's like, "Yeah, okay, let's go to bed. I'm tired too." And Avatar falls asleep. Avatar then wakes up at 3:17 in the morning. And he also mentioned that around 3 o'clock in the morning is when the demons and spirits come out of the ground. I don't know why he told us that, but he's from Colombia, that's what he believes. I mean, he said it. And when he woke up, he realized Peter's gone. He's not in his sleeping bag. He's not in the tent. So he's like, "Okay, I need to find Peter." So he goes and out of his tent, and he looks around to see if Peter is anywhere around the campsite. Peter's not there. He decides he wants to go and check the beach, the shoreline, at the river, because the counselors said that if you ever want to go to the beach, just go ahead. And so he checked there, and when he was going down the trail and he got to the beach, he finally got there and he saw Peter. And Peter was standing right at the shoreline and staring at the sunset, but he was different. He was stiff as a statue. He was staring blankly at the sunset. He wasn't really responding to anything. He wasn't responding at all. And no matter what Avatar did, Peter wouldn't respond. Peter's freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, Peter needs help." So he runs back up to the campsite, goes to his counselor, wakes him up, and he's like, "Something wrong with Peter. He needs help." And the counselor was like, "Who's Peter? We don't have a camper named Peter." And he's like, "The kid that just slept in my tent with me." And he's like, "We didn't send anybody to the tent with you because nobody wanted to sleep with you." Avatar's confused as hell right now. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. And he decides, "Okay, fine, I'm gonna go check on Peter." He goes and runs back to the beach. Peter's gone. Nowhere to be seen. But Avatar did notice something. It was writing in the sand. It said, "Thank you for making my last night on Earth the best that I could ever ask for." And that was it. He was confused. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He was crying. Peter was his only friend there, and he disappeared. He ran back up to the campsite, checked the tents. Peter's stuff was gone. His sleeping bag, his bag, it was all gone. So this got me thinking, what if... No, let me tell you this right now first. The reason that we think that the Shadowrunner and Peter are connected is because nothing happened until Avatar. So Avatar's a counselor now, okay? Until Avatar got to Trail, when he went on Trail, that's the only time that there was any occurrence of the Shadowrunner. Don't you think that's odd? When I got to thinking about all this, I had a long, deep thought about what the hell happened. Because Avatar wanted to know who was Peter, why was he there, why was he so nice, where did he go? And he couldn't answer these questions. The first thing he did when he came to the camp to be a counselor, he asked the director, "Do you know any information about a boy named Peter?" And the director immediately looked at him and said, "Don't ever ask about Peter. You don't want to know anything about him." And he didn't tell him any information. I want you guys to come up with what happened to Peter. Who was he? Why was he there? Why was he nice? What the hell happened? I want you guys to tell me what happened. No theory is wrong. I have a theory of my own, but if you do want to hear it, I want 5 likes on this video. If you give me 5 likes, I will tell you my theory about everything about Peter. And I think it's pretty solid. Go ahead and put your theories in the comments, guys. Leave a like to hear my theory. Subscribe if you haven't. And I missed you guys. See you next time.